everyone, to Public Affairs. I am your host, Kaylee Aiken, and today I am here with a very special person. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about who you are and why you're here today.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Josh Votaw. I am an associate pastor at Cardington Church of the Nazarene. We are a great church that just loves people. My co-senior pastors are Pastor Chris and Kirsten Humphreys, and we just love it there. And I'm also chaplain at Multi-County Jail located here in Marion, Ohio. And I'm there probably about 15 to 24 hours a week and do a lot of different things. I'm also a father of four, my oldest being a senior, a junior, a sixth grader, and fourth grader. I was born and raised here in Marion and just have a heart for the community and really want to reach out and help as much as I can.
Yeah. So you mentioned about being a chaplain. So what are the different programs that you guys do?
Well, out at Multi-County Jail, it's a really different thing for me. I had volunteered out there for about a year, almost a year and a half, doing a Celebrate Recovery program out there. And during that time, I got to know the chaplain out there and speaking with him. And he finally came to me and asked if I would be interested in doing more work there as a chaplain. And I told him it was something that I needed to pray about. And I did. And God opened that door, and I've been able to do so many great things there in the facility. I've been there just shy of 6 months, and it has been truly a God thing. He has really opened the door and allowed me to do a lot of things there. So when it comes to programs, I still help with the Celebrate Recovery program. I am a co-leader with David Powell and Adam Majors, and we take 2 men's groups a night and 1 women's group on Tuesday nights, and we just go through the steps and the step programs for Celebrate Recovery. Celebrate Recovery is a program that helps folks with hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Now, that's just about all of us. There's nothing specific about it. We have a wide range of things that we talk about and discuss, not just with drug and alcohol addiction, but we also cover things such as eating disorders, people who struggle with the loss of a loved one, and many other things that just hold us back from reaching our full potential with God and moving forward in our relationship and in our lives. So the Celebrate Recovery program is a great program, getting people started and getting people hooked up with how they can lean on Jesus to help free them of their addictions and hurts and habits. It is located downtown Marion, 233 West Church Street, and they have a Celebrate Recovery program on Thursday nights, and they start at 6 o'clock with a meal. Then they have the program at 7, and then breakout groups at about 8 o'clock. And that way folks can get in. It's a full worship service, and it covers all ages. So from infant to 100 years old, we've got a spot for you there. And we truly have focus on families. We have great youth pastors and children's pastors that work alongside the kids as well. And it's just a great time to make connections with people in a safe place and really talk about what's going on and how others can help. And we follow the 12 steps and the 8 principles that Celebrate Recovery does. And it's just truly a great program. Now, I also have started on Monday evenings. I get 2 men's groups and 2 female groups. And then also on Friday afternoons, I do the same thing. And I just preach. I lead a service and then leave it open, and we talk about and openly discuss certain topics and any questions that people have at that time. So the church services is a mix of a service / Bible study. Now, that's been growing great over the last almost just shy of 6 months. We've been able to reach over 560 people, and we've handed out 130 Bibles, with a lot of those Bibles being some folks' very first Bibles. It's making a big impact, and the stories and things that I'm receiving from the folks who have never been in church at all and don't know anything about God's Word other than what maybe they have seen on the street somewhere or from a family member or a friend. And this was truly their first experience in church. And it's been life-changing for a lot of folks. In that time, we've had 17 salvations, 3 folks who are getting ready to be baptized as well. So God is working, and He's working in that atmosphere every day. One of the other, well, it's actually several of the other things that I do is I try to provide Christian music for the church service as well. And I also provide daily breads, which is a 3-month devotional for folks to go through and read something from the Word every day. And I also have a one-on-one Christian counseling, if needed, where they send me a letter or send me a note and let me know that they need to talk, or there's questions that they have about the Bible that they just don't quite understand, and I'm able to talk to them and work with them. Now, I took this role on expecting what I was told was, well, you'll do a little Bible study and hand out some Bibles. And it's turned into so much more, but in a good way. That God's just opened those doors and allowed me to be able to reach those people and help them. We have a lot of folks that need assistance with domestic violence situations, homeless, to assistance with their children and things like that. And I've been able to work with Job and Family Services, Goodwill, United Way in both Marion and Hardin counties to get a list of these places to bring in so that they have access to it prior to their release, so they can set up a plan and really make things accessible for them when they get out, instead of getting released and just scratching their head and not knowing where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So clearly you've helped a lot of people. So how do you plan to help even more people? What other programs are you thinking about, or things that you want to do and change?
Well, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of donations. That's our biggest thing. I've been lucky to have folks from the Gideons help provide Bibles, as well as Pastor Radenball from Calvary Bible Baptist Church, and we've had people donate those things because these are not things that we can purchase. There's not a budget for that to do. And then there's several other things that people are wanting to get deeper into the Word and know more about God and about His Word and who He truly is. And in doing that, I'm needing to find and provide Bible study work or books, things like that are inspirational or that focus on certain things that I can make accessible to them so that they can learn more about God while they're there and even when they get released as well. So, as well as the Celebrate Recovery program, we're always looking for volunteers who could come in and help on Tuesday nights for the Celebrate Recovery, both male and female. We have a lot of folks that deal with a lot of different situations, and we want to try to make connections with them so that they have a sponsor of sorts, that an accountability partner that can help them through their journey. And it doesn't have to be anything more than just showing up and listening and talking and letting them know about how God has worked in your life and how you can help them as well. The things when it comes to music and things like that, I have reached out, and I'm limited on the technology on the other side, the lockdown side of multi-county jail. So I have a CD player and some CDs, and I'm always looking for worship CDs and things like that where we can have music that we can listen to, because I don't play any instruments and I'm not the best singer, so I let God lead the way in that sense through the music. And I've had some folks reach out, and I've got some music, but it's the making copies that costs money. Small things like that, making copies, buying those devotionals, purchasing books if I can't get them donated, and things like that to help folks on their journey.
Yeah. And if people wanted to give some community help and support, how would they contact you?
Great question. I'm available almost every day by cell phone at 740-751-2805. And the phone number there is 419-864-6801. Any one of those ways, leave me a message. Let me know what you're interested in. If there's something that comes to mind that you think that you would be able to help with. And a lot of times, even just prayer, intercessory prayer works. And when we have folks in there who feel completely alone, and some of them may be in the darkest times of their life, and they feel alone, but when I let them know that there are people out there praying for them and that they're truly not alone, that just knowing that someone else who doesn't even know anything about their situation or even know their name is praying for them makes a huge impact. So if you want to be part of the prayer team, if you want to come and help by just being there to talk and pray with people, we would love to get you signed up and help out with that. And we also have folks that can't do any of those things, but donations can be made to the church, and it would go to that fund and only used for those programs that are there at Multi-County Jail.
Yeah. And I don't know if any of the audience is interested in this, but I know it piqued my interest when you were talking. So, life after lockup, have you gotten any stories from anyone that's like, you helped me so much and this is how or why? Do you have any stories like that?
Yes, actually, this just happened to me last week. I can say this, but of course, Celebrate Recovery is a safe place, so not using any names or anything like that, but I am a greeter at Celebrate Recovery, and when I see some folks that I've previously seen before come in, and just being able to shake their hand and say hello to them and get them signed up and get them a free gift and show them where to go, that in itself is an experience. But this last week, I had sat in on the service, and there was a couple of open seats. And I asked a gentleman if I could sit next to him, and he said yes. And we went through the whole service, and it was a great service. But right afterwards, he had looked at me, and he said, Can I tell you something? I said, yeah, sure. What's up? And he said, this is a full circle moment for me. He said, do you remember me? And his face looked familiar, but I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And he said, when I was in jail, you softened my heart to God. And I showed up here today, and you sat right next to me. And that was his confirmation that God was working in his life, and that he is in the right place where he needs to be. And he wanted to know even more information about the groups and things like that, and to bring his family so that they could all come together there at Celebrate Recovery. And that's just one of the stories. I have several others, but God is working in these people's lives. And when they get out and they see me, and I see them at church again, just being able to shake their hand, give them a hug, and letting them feel welcome is truly life-changing.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps because I feel like the stories really show how much you're helping the community and your love for the community. So what is your favorite part about doing what you do?
Really, it's the being able to let folks know who Jesus is who have never heard about him ever before. We're talking about folks who are sometimes even in their 50s, but they've never set foot in a church. And through this program, I've realized that I can't just go in and preach like I would to a normal congregation. I'm reaching people for the very first time. And when I make a reference to a previous story or something like that, immediately I get questions. Well, who is that? What happened there? Can you tell me more about that? And it's just being able to tell those Bible stories about who God is, who Jesus is, and about his love for us, that I am starting to see these people just make connections that they've never made before, because somehow, some way, this image of God has been put in their mind, and they never saw him for who he truly is. And being able to speak into them and let God use me to speak to them directly, it's one of the greatest things. I get fired up every time I go in, and every time I leave, I'm leaving with tears of joy, truly, because of some of the questions and the connections that I've made that have turned people on to truly seeing who Jesus is for the first time, and handing out those Bibles, and some of them being their very first Bible, and being able to just write their name in it, and putting the date in it when they received it, as marking that this was the day that they took that step to grow closer in relationship with God. Man, it's awesome.
So we talked about some of the different programs that have helped people. What are some of the different events that you guys have at the church?
Well, at the church we have tons of things that go on a regular basis. We have Sunday morning worship, Sunday school. We also have youth group on Sunday nights, and that's at Cardington Church of the Nazarene, is where I also help as a youth leader as well. And we just went to Winter Jam just a few days ago, which we were able to go down and experience worship at the Schottenstein Center in Columbus with so many other Christians. And it's just so great to see so many other people coming together and worship in all different styles of worship together. That was amazing, and it was good to be able to be with some teens down there to do that. But also, we have, and we started this just 2 years ago. This last Christmas was our second Christmas doing it, and we have this goal of providing homemade Christmas cookies for everyone at Multi-County Jail, as well as all 3 shifts of folks that work there. And the first year we were able to do half a dozen cookies. Last year we made it to 10 cookies. And we're hoping that later this year we'll be able to provide a full dozen homemade cookies to folks that are there and working there at the facility as just another way of saying that Jesus loves you and that there are people out there who truly care about you and want to see you grow. And it was a great thing that we were able to get folks from Cornerstone Church in Marion, Ohio, Marion Naz, as well as Calvary Bible Baptist, and also Cardington Church of the Nazarene just get together and made a whole bunch of different kinds of cookies, and being able to deliver those cookies to folks and just seeing the smiles of their faces and knowing that God is working even through cookies and programs like that. It truly shows how powerful he is. Doesn't matter what's going on, he'll make a way. And that's truly something that folks remember. And through those programs and being able to do that has made folks want to come to the church service more while they're at multi-county jail. And it is open to anyone. No one is forced. And to see people who are actually open to coming and hearing about God and then continue to come back and ask questions. And some questions I can't answer, but I definitely have my mentors in the church that I can go to and speak with. And if you are one of those people who like to answer questions about God and help people grow in their faith, those are the types of people that we're looking for to come in and help with all of our programs.
Absolutely. If you were to tell the audience a message of one thing that you would want them to take away from today, what would it be?
Wow, that's a very good question. But I would have to say that these are people in our communities, in Marion and Hardin counties, that are just like you and me, looking for help in some ways to get pointed to Jesus and turn their life around. And sometimes they're not around the right folks who can point them in that direction. But if we can step in and point them in that right direction, we tell them we don't have any agenda as far as any church, but we tell them if you find a church where you feel comfortable and you can tell that they're preaching the Word of God, go there, be there, experience those people and let them help you on your journey. They're just like you and me. We've all made mistakes. We've all fallen. Now, remember when you needed someone to disciple you. They are looking for someone to disciple them. And I know that in this community, from the love that I've seen from all the different churches and the programs through Job and Family Services, United Way, and the homeless shelters, that this community truly cares. But we just need more people to remind them of that.
So what kind of challenges do you face and how do you overcome them?
Well, challenges that I face at Multi-County right now are making sure that I have enough Bibles, reading and study material for folks who want to get into the Word a little bit more and grow in their faith. And I am looking for donations in those areas, but also small things like just making copies of music, to making multiple copies of different types of study plans and things like that to help those people grow, costs money. And that's where I just work things out with my church. and also folks from Cornerstone Alliance Church. They give money specifically to be used to purchase Bibles, Celebrate Recovery Bibles, and also help with the cost of making copies and things like that. And so being able to rely on other folks in the community is a big way on how I can overcome those obstacles when they come up, when I need more copies and more materials and more Bibles and things like that, that people are reaching out to grow deeper in their faith with.
So as we're getting ready to wrap up this interview, is there anything that you'd like to add that we may have missed, or a closing statement of any?
I guess I would just have to say, folks, that any support that you could do, whether it be prayer, volunteer, or a donation of any kind, would go quite the distance in helping folks grow in their relationship with Jesus, as well as introducing some folks to Jesus for the very first time. And I feel that if we are able to make that connection, and as I said earlier, in just 6 months, over 560 people have heard the word. 17 have committed their lives to Christ. If we continue to do that, and we continue to disciple them and help them grow in their faith, these communities will be a whole lot different. But we need people like you to be those hands and feet so that they can be reached.
Well, thank you, Josh, not only for being here with me today, but also for helping our community in a whole. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And as always, you're watching Public Affairs, and I am your host, Kaylee Aiken. Thank you.